Cheating stories, my wife's betrayal hid a darker truth. Cartel Secrets Unveiled. She said I was paranoid. But paranoia doesn't send you proof with a timestamp. Hey, I'm Spencer Vaughn, and if that line stopped you in your tracks, you're about to hear a story that'll twist your heart and keep you guessing. This is my tale of love, betrayal, and secrets that cut deeper than any lie. If it hits you, please like, comment, and subscribe to Viora for more stories that pull no punches. 5 years ago, my life was damn near perfect. Brooke, my wife, was my everything. We lived in a charming 2-story home in Asheville, North Carolina. Think hardwood floors, a fireplace we'd curl up by, and a backyard where we'd grill with friends. I owned a boutique investment firm, Vaughn Capital, advising small businesses on growth strategies. Brooke was a rising star at Pinnacle Bank, structuring loans for startups. We weren't swimming in millions, but our combined income, high 6 figures, meant a cushy life, a solid portfolio, a vacation fund, and plans for a cabin in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Brooke was magnetic. Her dark curls bounced when she laughed, and her green eyes could read me like a balance sheet. She'd joke about my finance bro vibe while I'd rib her for charming clients into signing deals. We were a team building a future I thought was bulletproof. But this is a cheating story, and those don't start with forever. It was a crisp October morning when it all unraveled. I kissed Brooke goodbye, her lavender perfume lingering as I grabbed my briefcase. She was headed to the bank, same as always, her coffee mug steaming on the counter. I spent the day in meetings, crunching numbers for a client's expansion. When I got home at 6 p.m., the house was dark. Brooke's car wasn't in the driveway. Her purse, phone, and keys sat on the kitchen island untouched. No note. No sign of her. Just silence, heavy as a vault. I called her name, my voice bouncing off the walls. Nothing. My pulse spiked. I tried her phone, locked. No answer. Texted, waited, called again. By 8 p.m. I was unraveling, picturing accidents, kidnappings, anything but the truth I'd later face. I called her brother Miles, who lived in Charlotte. Haven't heard from her, Spence. You good? I wasn't. By 10 p.m. I was at the police station filing a report with Detective Lena Carver. She took notes as I described Brooke's routine: bank by 8 a.m., home by 5:30, yoga on Wednesdays. No fights, no debts, no reason to vanish. I said, my throat tight. Carver's eyes were kind but skeptical, like she'd heard this story before. The first twist came the next day. Carver called me back to the station. They'd cracked Brooke's phone records. At 1:42 p.m., the day she disappeared, she'd gotten a text from an unregistered number, "Need to see you 2 p.m., River Arts Lot." No reply from Brooke, but her phone's GPS showed her leaving the bank at 1:50 p.m., heading to the River Arts District, a trendy spot with galleries and cafes we rarely visited. Her signal cut off at 2:05 p.m., vanished. I sat in my truck outside the station, rain drumming on the roof. Who was she meeting? Why there? Brooke wasn't the secretive type. Or was she? That text burned in my mind, a spark of doubt I couldn't shake. Was this about to become my cheating wife story? I pushed the thought away, but it clung like damp clothes. Weeks dragged on. The police found nothing. No witnesses. No footage of Brooke at the River Arts Lot. Her co-workers said she'd been normal, closing a $500 000 loan that morning. Miles stayed with me for a week, helping me poster the city. My best friend Nate Sullivan, a CPA who'd known me since college, kept me grounded, forcing me to eat takeout instead of spiraling, but I couldn't stop digging. Brooke's laptop, still on her desk, was locked with a password. I didn't know I checked our joint accounts. Nothing unusual except for a pattern I'd missed. Over 3 years, Brooke had siphoned $20 000 into a separate account at Pinnacle Bank labeled Personal Savings, Small Transfers, $200 to $500, disguised as miscellaneous. For what a surprise and escape. My trust started to crack. The second twist hit 2 months later. Nate, who'd been scouring Brooke's social media, found a post from a bank networking event 6 months prior. Brooke was in a sleek black dress, laughing with a man, tall, polished, with a smirk that screamed confidence. Nate enlarged the image. Know him, I didn't. But the way Brooke's hand rested on his shoulder made my chest tighten. I showed the photo to Miles. He hesitated, then said, "That's Dean Harrington. He was a senior VP at Pinnacle, left for a bigger gig in Atlanta. They worked together a lot. Worked together." The phrase felt like a blade. Miles swore it was professional. Dean was Brooke's mentor, guiding her through high-stakes deals, but that photo, her ease with him, planted a seed of betrayal. I tracked Dean down. He was now at a major bank in Atlanta, a rising star in corporate finance. I called his office pretending to be a client. His voicemail was crisp, commanding. I hung up, then drove to Atlanta, a 6-hour round trip. I watched him leave his glass-towered office meeting a colleague for lunch. No Brooke, just Dean striding like he owned the world. I felt foolish, but his confidence fueled my suspicion. What did he know? Back home, the house felt like a ghost. Brooke's scarf hung on the coat rack, her favorite mug unwashed in the sink. I found a receipt in her car dated a month before she vanished for a cafe in the River Arts District, $12.47 for 2 coffees. 2. Then in her desk, a sticky note. DH 6:30 p.m., Blue Ridge Room, Dean Harrington. My mind raced, piecing together a puzzle I didn't want to solve. The third twist came at the 4-month mark. Carver called me, and the burner phone that texted Brooke was traced to a convenience store in Asheville. Security footage showed a man buying it, tall, dark jacket face hidden by a ball cap. Carver showed me the grainy image. Recognize him. I couldn't be sure, but his build matched Dean's. We're following up, Carver said, but it's thin. Or not, it was enough to make me question everything. I poured a bourbon, staring at our wedding photo on the mantel. Brooke's smile was radiant, her hand in mine. Had she been hiding something? The $20,000. The texts. Dean's smirk, they swirled in my head, a storm of doubt and pain. I loved her, but love doesn't blind you forever. Was she with him, running from me, or caught in something I couldn't see? My heart fought my head, and neither was winning. I sat in the dim glow of my office, the bourbon bottle half empty, staring at the grainy security footage still on my laptop. That faceless man buying the burner phone haunted me. Was it Dean Harrington? Every instinct screamed yes, but instincts aren't evidence. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, itching to dig deeper into Brooke's life, to unravel the woman I thought I knew. The $20,000 in her secret account, the coffee receipt for 2, the sticky note with DH. They were breadcrumbs leading somewhere, and I was too stubborn to stop following. The next morning, I called Pinnacle Bank, posing as a client, checking on Brooke's old projects. Her former assistant, Tara Mitchell, was chatty. Oh, Brooke was a rock star. She said closed deals no one else could. She and Dean Harrington were like a power duo, always strategizing over coffee. Coffee. My grip tightened on the phone. Did they ever meet outside work? I asked, keeping my tone casual. Tara hesitated. Not that I saw, but Dean was intense, always pushing her to take risks. I thanked her and hung up my mind, spinning. Risks, what kind? I drove to the River Arts District, parking in the lot where Brooke's phone last pinged. It was a Saturday, the place buzzing with tourists snapping photos of murals. I walked the lot, scanning for anything. A camera, a witness, a clue. Nothing, just asphalt, and the faint hum of a nearby brewery. I sat on a bench, picturing Brooke here, meeting someone in secret. The image of her laughing with Dean at that gala flashed again, her hand on his shoulder. My chest ached, not just from loss, but from the betrayal I couldn't prove. That evening I met Nate at a dive bar downtown. He slid a beer across the table, his eyes heavy with concern. You're killing yourself, Spence. Maybe it's time to what? I snapped. Give up. She's out there, Nate. Or she was. He sighed, pulling out his phone. I didn't want to show you this, but... He opened an email from a mutual friend forwarded from a private Facebook group for bank employees. It was a screenshot of a chat from a year ago between Brooke and an account tagged DH. The messages were vague but damning. Can't keep doing this, it's too much. Her reply, I know, but I can't stop either. My stomach dropped. Nate's voice was soft. Could be nothing. Work stress, maybe. I didn't believe him. Neither did he. The fourth twist came a week later. I'd hired a private investigator, Elena Torres, a no-nonsense ex-cop who specialized in missing persons. She cost me $5,000 up front, but I didn't care. She dug into Dean's life, pulling records I couldn't access. Harrington's clean on paper, she told me over coffee at a diner. Big shot in Atlanta, lives in a penthouse, no criminal record. But there's a gap. 6 months before he left Pinnacle, he took a sabbatical. No travel records, no credit card activity. Like he went dark, I leaned forward, and Brooke Elena's eyes narrowed. Her transfers to that secret account spiked during that period, $10,000 in 3 months. She slid a folder across the table. Also found this hotel receipt, Asheville Marriott, booked under her name, 2 nights same week. Dean was off-grid, paid in cash. I opened the folder, my hands shaking. The receipt showed a king suite, $600 total. No other names but the dates lined up with a client meeting Brooke had told me about. I'd been out of town pitching to a brewery in Raleigh. She'd kissed me goodbye, said she'd miss me. Now I saw her in that hotel room with him. The bourbon I'd had earlier churned in my gut. Elena watched me. Could be a coincidence, but you need to prepare for the worst. The worst. I was already living it. I confronted Miles that night, showing him the receipt. His face crumpled. Spence, I swear I didn't know. Brooke never said anything about Dean. He rubbed his temples. But she was different that year. Distracted. Said it was work. But I wanted to scream to shake him for not telling me sooner. Instead I asked, did she ever mention leaving me? Miles shook his head. Never. She loved you. That's what makes this so damn confusing. The fifth twist blindsided me. Elena called at 2 a.m., her voice urgent. Got a hit on that burner phone. It pinged a tower in Knoxville, Tennessee yesterday. Active for 10 minutes, then shut off Knoxville 3 hours away. I cross-checked Brooke's contacts. Elena continued. One of her old clients, a real estate developer named Gavin Reed, lives there. He was tight with Dean at Pinnacle. Want me to dig? I didn't hesitate. Do it. I barely slept, my mind racing. Was Brooke in Knoxville with Dean? Or this Gavin guy? The next day I checked our joint investment account, something I hadn't touched in months. A $3,000 withdrawal dated 2 weeks before she vanished caught my eye. The memo read consulting fee. Brooke hadn't consulted for anyone. I called the bank. The transfer went to a shell company, Reed Properties. Gavin Reed. My blood ran cold. I drove to Knoxville against Elena's advice. She'd warned me to stay put, let her handle it, but I couldn't sit still. I found Reed's office, a sleek building downtown. He was in a meeting, his receptionist said, but I waited. When he emerged, mid-40s, silver hair, expensive suit. I blocked his path. Where's my wife? I demanded louder than I meant. His eyes flickered, but he played dumb. Sorry, who? I shoved Brooke's photo in his face. Brooke Vaughn. You know her, and Dean Harrington. He stepped back, calm but guarded. I think you're mistaken. I haven't seen either in years. I didn't buy it. His handshake was too firm. His smile too polished. That night, I checked into a motel, replaying Reed's denial. My phone buzzed, a text from Elena. Found something, call me. She'd hacked into an old email account Dean used at Pinnacle. One message sent to Brooke a month before she disappeared. Read Gavin's, got us covered. Meet me in K. Don't tell anyone. Brooke's reply, I'm scared, but okay. I stared at the screen, my heart pounding. Scared of what? Me, the truth, or something bigger? The sixth twist came fast. Elena tracked Reed's financials. He'd funneled $50,000 to a Cayman Islands account the week Brooke vanished, labeled consulting services. The same account received $15,000 from Brooke's secret savings. It's a money trail, Elena said, could be fraud, blackmail, or worse. Dean's tied to it, but I can't prove he's with Brooke. I didn't care about proof anymore. I wanted answers. I went back to Reed's office the next day, but he was gone, out of town. His receptionist claimed I broke into his parking garage, a desperate move even for me. In his reserved spot was a black SUV, a Pinnacle bank sticker on the windshield. I jimmied the lock, my hands shaking. Inside, I found a woman's scarf, lavender like Brooke's. My breath caught. Then under the passenger seat, a phone. Not hers, but a cheap burner. I powered it on, one text unsent. I'm sorry. I never meant to hurt you, S. Spencer. My knees buckled. I called Elena, my voice hoarse. It's her. She's alive. Elena was skeptical, but agreed to trace the phone. It had pinged in Knoxville the day before near a warehouse district. Stay put. She said, I'm coming to you, but I couldn't wait. I drove to the warehouse, a crumbling relic surrounded by chain link. It was empty save for a single light flickering inside. I crept closer, my heart in my throat. That's when I heard it. A woman's voice, soft trembling. We can't keep running. My blood froze. Brooke. I pushed the door open, the hinges creaking. Inside, two figures stood in the shadows. One was Brooke, her curls shorter, her face gaunt. The other was Dean, his hand on her arm. Spence. Brooke gasped, her eyes wide with fear. Dean spun his face hard. You shouldn't be here, he said, stepping toward me. I didn't think I swung. My fist connected with his jaw, and he staggered. Brooke screamed, Stop, you don't understand. She grabbed my arm, her touch electric after all these months. It's not what you think, she whispered, tears streaming. I didn't cheat. I was protecting you. Protecting me from what? Dean wiped blood from his lip, glaring. Tell him, Brooke, or I will. My head spun. The warehouse smelled of rust and regret, the single bulb casting jagged shadows. I looked at my wife, a stranger now, and braced for the truth. She took a shaky breath. It started 2 years ago. Dean and I uncovered something at the bank fraud, millions tied to Gavin Reed and some dangerous people. We tried to report it, but they threatened us. Threatened you? Her voice broke. I moved that money to keep it safe, to buy time. When they came for me, I had to run. Dean helped me hide. I stared, her words sinking in fraud threats. This wasn't a cheating story. It was a conspiracy. Or was it? Dean's smirk lingered in my memory, and that scarf in his car felt too personal. Why didn't you tell me? I demanded, my voice raw. Brooke's eyes dropped. I thought I could fix it. I didn't want you hurt. I was already broken. Dean stepped forward. We're still in danger. Vaughn Reed's people are close. You showing up just made it worse. I wanted to hit him again, but Brooke's hand tightened on mine. Spence, please trust me. Trust her. After the lies, the secrets, the months of agony. I looked into her eyes, searching for the woman I married. She was there, but buried under fear and guilt. The warehouse creaked and footsteps echoed outside. Dean tensed. They're here? My heart raced. Whoever they were, they weren't here for apologies. I grabbed Brooke's hand, my anger warring with the need to protect her. Run, I said, pulling her toward the back exit. Dean followed, his face unreadable. We slipped into the night, the Knoxville skyline a blur. My truck was parked a block away, but headlights swept the street too close too fast. Brooke's breath hitched. Spence, I'm so sorry I didn't answer. I couldn't. Not yet. The truth was out, but it wasn't enough. Was she really protecting me, or was there more she wasn't saying? And Dean, what was his game? The footsteps grew louder, and I knew one thing: we weren't safe, not tonight. Maybe not ever. The Knoxville night was thick with humidity, the air clinging to my skin as we ran. Brooke's hand was cold in mine, her grip desperate but fragile, like she might slip away again. Dean trailed behind, his footsteps sharp against the gravel, his presence a thorn I couldn't shake. Headlights sliced through the darkness, pinning us like prey. Whoever was chasing us, Reed's people, Brooke had called them, knew we were here. My truck was a block away, but the street felt like a battlefield, every shadow hiding a threat. My mind churned with Brooke's confession, fraud, millions threats against me. It wasn't the cheating story I'd feared, but it was no less a betrayal. She'd lied, hidden, left me to drown in questions, and Dean, his role in this was still a fog I couldn't pierce. Keep moving, I hissed, pulling Brooke toward an alley. Her breath was ragged, her face pale under the streetlights. Dean caught up, his jaw still red from my punch. They'll block the roads, he said, voice low. We need to split up. Split up. My gut screamed no. I didn't trust him, not with Brooke, not with this mess. But the headlights were closing in, and the echo of boots on pavement was louder now. Brooke's eyes met mine, pleading. Spence, he's right. We can't outrun them together. I hated it, but she was right. I nodded, jaw tight. You stay with me, I told her. Dean smirked like he'd won something. Meet at the old mill, east side, 2 hours, he said, then slipped into the shadows. We ducked into the alley, crouching behind a dumpster that reeked of stale beer and rust. The SUV roared past its engine, a low growl. Brooke's hand trembled in mine, and for a moment I saw the woman I married, scared but fierce. I didn't want this, she whispered. I thought I could keep you safe. Safe. The words stung. She'd torn my world apart to protect me, and now we were fugitives in a city I barely knew. No more lies, I said, my voice hard. What's Reed got on you? She swallowed, eyes darting. Not here when we're clear. I wanted to shake her, demand answers, but the SUV circled back, its lights sweeping the alley. We pressed deeper into the dark, my heart pounding. The seventh twist came as we reached my truck. I fumbled for the keys, Brooke scanning the street. That's when I saw it, a glint under the wheel. Well, I knelt, my fingers brushing cold metal. A tracker wired to the chassis. Someone had been watching me, maybe for weeks. Spence, Brooke's voice was tense. I yanked the device free, crushing it under my boot. They knew I'd come, I said, realization dawning. This wasn't just about Brooke or Dean. I was a target, too. Her eyes widened. Gavin's people, they must have followed you from Asheville. My mind raced. Had they bugged my phone, my office? The life I'd thought was mine felt like a house of cards collapsing with every new truth. We climbed into the truck and I floored it, weaving through Knoxville's back streets. Brooke clutched the door, her knuckles white. There's a safe house, she said. Dean set it up. It's off-grid near the Smokies. A safe house. With Dean. The idea churned my stomach, but we had no choice. The mill was too exposed and I didn't trust Dean to tell me everything I said. Eyes on the road. Now. She took a shaky breath. Gavin Reed was laundering money through Pinnacle Bank Millions for a syndicate out of Atlanta. Dean and I found the accounts during an audit. We were going to blow the whistle, but Gavin's people got to us first. They threatened to kill you. Spence said they'd make it look like an accident. Her voice cracked. I couldn't risk it. I gripped the wheel, the road blurring. So you ran with Dean? She shook her head. Not with him. He helped me disappear fake ID cash. A burner phone I hid in Knoxville working odd jobs staying low. Dean funneled me money from the account I'd set up to keep Gavin off my trail. The $20,000. It wasn't an affair, it was survival. But the scarf in Dean's car, the hotel receipt, the texts, they didn't add up. And the Marriott. I asked, voice low. 2 nights cash. Her face fell. That was a meeting with an FBI contact. Dean set it up. We were trying to build a case, but the agent ghosted us. I swear, Spence, it was never about him. I wanted to believe her, but doubt was a splinter in my heart. The safe house was a small cabin tucked in the foothills of the Smoky Mountains. We reached it by dawn, the sky bruised purple. The place was sparse. Cots, canned food. A radio note. Dean. Brooke sank onto a cot exhausted. I stood by the window watching the trees. If you're lying, I said I'll walk away for good. She met my gaze, tears brimming. I'm not, but I don't blame you for hating me. Hate. I didn't hate her. I loved her, and that was the worst part. The 8th twist hit at noon. The radio crackled and Elena's voice came through static but urgent. Spencer, you there? I'm at the mill. Dean's gone. Found his phone smashed. Blood on the ground. My stomach lurched. Brooke gasped, covering her mouth. They got him, she whispered. Elena continued. I'm tracking Reed's accounts. He's moving money fast offshore, untraceable. Whatever you're into, it's bigger than fraud. Get out of Knoxville. Now. The line cut. I turned to Brooke. Bigger than fraud. What else aren't you telling me? She shook her head, frantic. I don't know. Gavin never said more, just that he had partners who'd kill to protect the money. I paced, piecing it together. Reed's syndicate wasn't just laundering cash. They were tied to something deeper. Maybe drugs, maybe worse. Dean's disappearance meant they were closing in. Brooke grabbed my arm. We can't stay here. If they found Dean, they'll find us. She was right, but running blind wasn't an option. I needed leverage. The FBI, I said. You said you had a contact. Reach out. Brooke hesitated. They didn't trust me before. What if do it, I cut in, or we're dead? She used the burner phone from Dean's car, dialing a number from memory. A man answered, voice clipped, Agent Kessler. Who's this? Brooke explained Pinnacle Reed the threats. Kessler was skeptical, but agreed to meet in Chattanooga 3 hours south. Bring proof, he said. No game's proof. The only proof we had was Brooke's word and a crushed tracker. But I wasn't letting her face this alone. The 9th twist came en route to Chattanooga. We took back roads, my truck's headlights cutting through the dusk. Brooke was quiet, staring out the window. Then she spoke, voice soft. I saw you. You know, last year in Asheville. You were putting up flyers looking for me. My throat tightened. Why didn't you come back? She turned eyes wet. They were watching you, Gavin's people. If I'd shown up, they'd have killed us both. I gripped the wheel, her words a weight I couldn't carry. She'd been close watching me suffer and chose to stay hidden. Love or cowardice, I couldn't decide. Halfway to Chattanooga, a black SUV appeared in my rearview, tailing us. My pulse spiked. Brooke, hold on, I floored it. The truck rattling as we hit 80. The SUV matched us, closing the gap. Brooke fumbled with the burner, dialing Kessler. We're being followed, she said, voice shaking, Highway 64 near Cleveland. Kessler's reply was curt. Lose them, I'll send backup. Lose them. Easier said than done. The SUV rammed our bumper, jarring us forward. Brooke screamed. I swerved onto a dirt road, tires spitting gravel. The SUV followed relentless. I spotted a narrow bridge ahead, barely wide enough for one vehicle. Brace yourself, I said, yanking the wheel. We skidded onto the bridge, the SUV right behind. At the last second, I slammed the brakes. The SUV couldn't stop it. Swerved, crashing through the guardrail into the creek below. Brooke gasped, clutching my arm. I didn't wait to check if they survived. I hit the gas, praying Kessler's backup was real. We reached Chattanooga by midnight, meeting Kessler at a diner off the interstate. He was mid-40s, grizzled with eyes that missed nothing. Brooke handed him the burner phone and recounted everything: Reed, the syndicate, Dean's disappearance. I added the tracker, the warehouse, the SUV. Kessler listened, jotting notes. If this checks out, he said, you're in deeper than you know. Reed's connected to a cartel, not just a bank scam. Stay low, I'll be in touch. A cartel. The word landed like a grenade. Brooke's face drained of color. I felt the same. The 10th twist came 2 days later. We were holed up in a motel waiting for Kessler's call. My phone buzzed a text from an unknown number. Check your email. D. Dean. I opened my laptop. Heart racing. An email waited, sent from a dummy account. It contained a single file, a ledger detailing transactions between Reed Properties and a dozen offshore accounts. Millions funneled through Pinnacle Bank with Brooks and Dean's names on several entries. A note followed. I'm alive. They think I'm dead. Use this, end it. Dean wasn't gone. He'd been playing his own game, and now he'd handed us a weapon. Brooke stared at the screen, trembling. He set us up, she said. These entries, they're fake. Gavin must have forged them to frame us. Frame us. It made sense. If the cartel thought Brooke and Dean were liabilities, pinning the fraud on them was a clean way to tie up loose ends. I forwarded the ledger to Kessler, my hands shaking. This is our proof, I said, but it's also a target on our backs. Kessler called an hour later, got the file. It's enough to move on, Reed. We're raiding his Knoxville office tonight. Stay put, stay put. After everything, sitting still felt like surrender. Brooke curled up on the motel bed, her eyes distant. Do you think we'll ever be us again? She asked, voice barely audible. I didn't answer. I didn't know. The woman I loved was here, but so was the weight of her choices. Secrets. Silence, Dean's shadow. The 11th twist was the final blow. Kessler's raid went south. Reed's office was empty. His accounts drained. Worse, a news alert hit my phone. Asheville man wanted in bank fraud probe. My name. My face splashed across the screen, Brooks too. The ledger had been leaked, twisted to paint us as the masterminds. Reed had outplayed us, and the cartel was covering its tracks. Kessler was furious. Someone tipped them off. He said, You've got 24 hours before the feds come for you. Run. Run again. Brooke packed our bags, her movements mechanical. I stood by the window, the neon motel sign flickering like my hope. Dean's email. The ledger, the chase. It all led here to a truth I couldn't escape. Brooke hadn't cheated, but she'd broken something just as sacred: trust. Yet I couldn't leave her, not now, not after everything. Where to? She asked, zipping the duffel. I looked at her, the woman I'd loved through every lie. Anywhere but here, I said. We slipped out at dawn, the open road ahead. The cartel and feds behind Dean was out there. Maybe friend, maybe foe. Reed was a ghost pulling strings we couldn't see. And us, we were fugitives bound by love and betrayal, chasing a freedom that might not exist. I glanced at Brooke, her face lit by the rising sun. Was it worth it? I asked, my voice soft, protecting me. She didn't answer, just reached for my hand. Her silence was louder than any confession. The road stretched on, and I wondered, did I save her, or did she doom us both? Would you run with them, or turn back to face the truth? Tell me below. Like what you heard, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Viora, because the next story might just be your favorite one yet.